let's talk about motivation. Bona IQINISO is built on 4 pillars, as we know. But what was our motivation to do that? Well, our motivation first, our rationale to create Bona IQINISO were in fact the people that are working together. We wanted to create an environment or some rules or some guidance on how people can in fact work together. But the problem is that if you don't provide structure for those people, then in fact it will not work, or it will not be efficient, or it will not be effective. So that's where comes in the object management group. It's an organization that built something which is called the business motivation model. It gives us insight on why organizations do what they do. It gives us, in fact, the motivation for an organization to do something. And Bona IQINISO, as I already said, we have 4 pillars. How does that fit into that business motivation model? So that's the question that we are going to answer now. To start with, the business domain. The business domain is everything that you see in yellow. And it's a big part. And it should be a big part, because it is what our organization makes. It's the foundation of what we will create within our organization. You have two kinds of business domain. You have internal and external. The internal part will be more like also the software development part, the risk management part. They will give us some limitations on what we can do, but it also will give us the products that we want to build. And the business domain, the internal business domain, will also provide for us, for instance, all the terms and the facts, the relationships, all the business processes that we need to cover if we are creating a software app. And that's fine. But there is also another part in there, because software development, it's bigger than only internal within the organization. There is also an external part. And as an example, we use the debacle that we had in 2008 with all the financial institutions that went bankrupt, is that after that period, a lot of new regulations, for instance, came into life, into existence. And those external regulations, they provided also an impact on how, for instance, we do software testing. We wanted more transparency. They also wanted to have more insight on how, for instance, if you create an application, what are the rules behind it, and how is it tested. So, in fact, everything that an organization does it because there are internal and external influences. And based on that business domain, we extract from there also a set of business rules. Those are the rules that, one, we have to follow the processes, but on the other hand, it also provides us with all the business rules that an application has to follow and fulfill. So that part, the business domain, is in fact very important, not only to know what we want to build, but it also will dictate for a big part how we are going to build an application. The application is in fact our end goal. Yeah, that's our vision. That's what we want to do as an organization, and it's our application board. We have a vision of what we want to do based on everything that has been decided in the business domain. And the application board, unfortunately, probably is a very big thing, so it cannot be delivered in one go. So we will also need a sort of roadmap. We will have to make sure that we have the right goals in time to make sure that we have that application ready by the time that we need that application. But we cannot just release that application. There are some objectives that we need to get for our application, and those objectives are in fact the testing board. We want to test to make sure that everything that we put in a production environment fully complies with the business rules that we got from internal and external influencers. So that's the reason why in Bona IQINISO we have the 4 pillars that we have. These 4 pillars, they also follow in fact the fix regime, the fixed approach that we have in Bona IQINISO. Namely, the business domain will give us our context. It will give us all the surroundings, while our application board, which is the vision, gives us in fact the concept of what we want to do. And our goals and the roadmap, they in fact tell us our implementation, what we will implement when and where in time. And then our testing board makes sure that everything that we put in a production environment is in fact verified and validated. So these are